6:49 is your time. These stories bring us to our political plays of the week. We're glad to have Democrat analyst Michael John Gray joining us, as well as Republican analyst Bill Vickery. Both are here with us this morning. Guys, glad to have you here. First off, let's talk about President Biden creating this study to look into making changes to the Supreme Court. One of the things that they're looking at is possibly expanding this Supreme Court. What do you guys think about this?
Well, look, Roosevelt tried this 70 years ago and was rebuffed in a bipartisan manner by both Democrats and Republicans. I promise you, if Joe Biden had been president and appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, there would be no commission. There would be nothing. This is just whose ox is getting bored. And there is a fear that for 20 years, Democrats, lefty Democrats, especially in the Senate, had control of the judiciary because we saw appointment after appointment of ultra-left-wing justices. Now we've seen the president begin to shift that back to at least the center. So this is a Supreme Court that has worked since the beginning of the country, and yet you have one old man who doesn't like the makeup of the court trying to change things. I just don't see it going anywhere.
Michael John?
Yeah, it's not one old man. It's a commission, and he's the president of the United States. Everybody wants to hone in on enlarging the size of the court, but there are some real questions, and I'll remind Bill, some of those lefty judges he's talking about were appointed by Republican presidents, and it kind of surprised them when they got there. But the issue is, how long should they be there? Should this really be for life? We saw even with President Trump and his frustration with the court not taking cases. This is strictly because it's a Democratic idea, it must be a bad idea from the Republican side. There has been historical discussion around what the Supreme Court looks like with the lifetime appointments. It's time to have that conversation. It's not an executive order. It's a commission to study potential changes.
Now, lifetime appointment is one of the things that they're looking at, but they're also looking at the size of it, and they're also looking at case selection, rules, and practice. So it looks like they're looking at all options that are on the table. How far do you guys, I'm sorry?
Yeah, this is a disaster. This is an attempt to politicize the court. That's what we're talking about. I mean, we have an idea in this country that we are ultimately a nation of laws. Those laws are interpreted by judges and juries, and that stands above everything else. And so what you have is you've got a Democratic Party that's being driven by the far left now, looking to politicize a court that they fear is going to be conservative for the next couple of decades. And oftentimes, that's just how the chips fall. That's why we saw the court act the way that it did from the late 60s through the 70s and the early 80s. We saw a fairly benign court through the 90s and the early 2000s. Now you begin to see a court that's shifting maybe more to the conservative side of things, although justices, because they have a lifetime appointment, become, say, more liberal. You look at John Roberts, who's clearly conservatives.
This isn't the first time we've seen changes to the Supreme Court structure. Michael John, I want you to chime in here. I want to hear from you, but do you think that we need to see a change, and is the timing now?
I think it's fair to take a look. Every few years, you ought to take a look at what's working, what's not working. The American people have shown some disconnect from the judicial branch. We elect judges all across the country. I like the fact that Supreme Court justices are appointed, but there's a real lack of understanding of what cases they do take. There's not that compels them to. I think the American people deserve a commission that says, we've looked at this, we don't need to change this, we need to change this. It's not a political issue, but when you're on the other side and you're looking to make anything political, I guess you make this one political.
All right, Michael, John, and Bill, great to have both of your perspectives on this issue. Wish we had more time to talk about this, but we will see you again next Monday for another round of political plays.